Jon Skow.
Gentleman that we got to see not too long ago in Kentucky. I believe he fought on that Ashland card in a kickboxing match.
Fought Tristan Franzen, came away with a second round KO. Jon is fighting out of Tartarus MMA in Ashland, Kentucky, under Eric Swan, Zach Wilds. Coming out to some island vibes here.
I like that. And Jon's coming up a little bit in weight, I believe. I believe his last fight was either at 45 or 35.
His
if I'm not mistaken.
Last weigh-in, I don't know. It's not on here. But I'm sure he weighed something. I'm sure he wasn't zero.
I only know that because Keith and I have been trying to get a match for one of my 135ers in kickboxing. And he said Jon was a potential opponent. I believe he weighed in at 35 or 45 for that fight with Tristan.
And now making his way to the red corner, Jayden Owens.
And Jon's staying busy. That was just about a month ago.
Make sure you guys do a fine job. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Here we go. We're joined in the booth by black belt Butch Hiles.
I've not sat next to Colin in the booth for a long time, maybe ever.
No, you took your headset off and put it on my ears when Hunter was rolling with Zara. When they got into some kind of leg lock exchange.
That I would know nothing about, so that's perfect. What's that young people stuff that I don't even know what's going on?
We got to have some kind of tricks to beat the guys who are actually better than us in jiu-jitsu like you play.
So what did you think, not to lessen their match, but that Chris McKinney-Josh Fowler match was very interesting. What did you think about that?
I actually didn't get to watch it, but I talked to both of them afterwards. It sounded like it was a pretty good leg lock exchange. And Josh, it's easy to expose his heels, but it's actually very difficult to finish Josh with heel hooks. I've done it a handful of times in the gym, but it taps very late. You have to have good breaking mechanics if you're going to try to heel hook Josh. And it sounds like they got into a little bit of a leg lock exchange, and Josh was able to get exposure on McKinney and get a finish.
Well, and the other thing we talked about before is that Josh has a tendency to kind of lull people into feeling like they're okay, and then all of a sudden, bam, he goes, right?
Yep.
And so it looked like he was losing the whole match, and then bam, he had the heel hook. Right?
Josh is not afraid to put himself in bad positions and work out of there.
So crazy.
So here we go. We are underway. Jayden Owens versus Jon Skow. Jayden Owens coming in with a 3-2 record. And Jon Skow, this is his debut. So he's really taking a tough opponent right out of the gate.
And we saw Jon use his hands more effectively than his opponent in that kickboxing fight, so it'll be interesting to see him end up the right hand and get set down.
He gets floored by a 2-punch combination right out of the gate.
Is that this one?
Okay. Jon beats the count early. Looks like he's got his legs under him.
Yeah, it looks like he got kind of surprised a little bit and set on his back foot. I mean, it was a clean knockdown, but he appears to have his wits back about him.
So how did this, so judging by like the 5-fight and 0-fight thing, how did this one come about? Again, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, is there a... So
Skow competed recently in kickboxing and won decisive second-round knockout.
Look at those right hands.
But he's getting an amount of volume put on him by Jayden Owens.
He's going to have to land something to make Jayden
He's not keeping that left hand up.
And he lands a little bit of a left hook at the end of that exchange there. And another.
Jon's hanging tough in here, even though he's eating big shots.
He is. He's keeping his wits about him, and he's starting to throw back now. I think he got a little bit wrapped up in that offensive barrage of Jayden, but now he seems to be catching himself a little bit.
And it's clear that Jayden's very confident in his right hand, right? He's definitely hunting that right hand, and he's landing it.
And everything he's setting up with that jab, that quick jab.
And that time the right hand was blocked, and Jayden countered with a nice jab, and then we see a little left hook there on the outside. So
seemed like he at least picked it up there, but... Meaning that he ducks another duck of the right. That was very nice. He's getting it.
Jon's making adjustments.
Oh, and he lands a nice right hand of his own.
Look, he's definitely countering that right now. But my argument would be when he threw his right hand, he didn't sit down on it, right? His right foot came up a little bit.
I would agree. He's got a little bit more of that kind of footworky kickboxing type style.
Yes,
he's not really setting his feet underneath of his punches.
He just got his knees buckled by a right hand.
Big one. That's a big one.
And if that right hand lands, it's all she wrote.
And that time it sent him smacking his head off of the turnbuckle even.
Jon Skow's tough as nails, though. It looks like he's going to beat this count as well.
I agree. And we might be, this might be a kind of a matchup where we see a little bit of fatigue set in on the man who's throwing a lot more volume early on. So if Skow can survive this round, we might see a very different second round. But
Colin, that's a solid point. There's a lot of times that somebody starts up, like I've judged and refed and everything you can do with tough man, right? The first round, people come out like gangbusters, right? It's the second round that matters.
Yeah.
And this could be a prime, although he doesn't look very tired right here. Like the tough man's a different thing. Sometimes in the second round, you can tell those people gave all they had for that first minute, right?
So tell me, Colin, if you're in the corner right now of Jon Skow, what are you telling him?
telling him to keep that head movement. Don't get stuck in the middle of long exchanges. Short combinations with somebody who's got a lot of power and throws a lot of volume like that, you don't want to set your feet up in front of him. He wants to keep doing the things like he was doing in the middle of that round where he was having some success. Slip into the inside of that right hand and countering with a jab and then get out. Don't necessarily slip, stand there, and then start an exchange. Those exchanges are generally not going to favor him.
His coach just lifts him off the stool there. I don't know if that's a sign of fatigue or just something they normally do.
Well, and another question I got for you, Colin, is as a coach, if your fighter's down 10-8, and he obviously got knocked down, so he's down 10-8 at least.
10-8 or potentially 10-7 with 2 knockdowns.
So what would you tell him going into the next round?
He's got to start to, first of all, he's got to start to get the respect early.
Yeah.
As he gets set down again with another right hand.
And obviously he didn't make any change. But, again, it doesn't matter. I'm sure his quarter's doing a great job. But if you were to keep that hand up, we know the right hand's coming. You can tell this right now, right? Just he stopped the fight. That's probably a good stoppage.
Mike Napple sees it in his eyes.
Skow didn't like it. He wanted to keep fighting, but the ref saw something there that he didn't like.
Right, guys, I got my guy up next, so I'll see you in just a second.
Yes, sir.
By the way, it's a pleasure, Colin.
As always.
You're
I like
awesome.
this. This is a good. We got good trade-offs. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to disappear to coach some of my people, and we'll have you
This
here.
is going to be great.
It's beautiful.
Appreciate
Work out
you,
nice.
And I will always be here.
Well, I know. And we're both better than you, Elijah.
Consummate commentator. I'm not like a fair weather commentator.
When you're a black
I don't
belt,
just
you get to float
disappear
in
on
and
you.
out. That's a privilege that comes.
Yeah, the purple belt's got to stay here. I know.
Referee has been assigned to the exit. Your winner by TKO, Jayden Owens.
Beautiful work by Jayden Owens.
Yep.
Showed his experience there.
And to be honest, though, even in that short fight where he got stopped, I was impressed with Jon's performance. Honestly, maybe even a bit more than that fight we saw him in not that long ago, maybe a month or two ago.